It's Word Time with Princess.
Honor comes in the place of service. The sole aim of discipleship is to be like the master and to do what he does. Happy New Month, guys. Welcome to Word Time with Praying Times. This month we'll be looking at a beautiful topic captioned Discipleship Code. Discipleship is the reason for lack of transfer. God is transgenerational. He starts a vision with one man and that man transfers the vision to the next generation. Now, discipleship is a reason for lack of transfer. Why I said so is because there are a lot of people that do not want to serve. They don't want to bend down and serve somebody. They just want a shortcut. They just want to make it quick. So they don't get to inherit what their master or who they are serving has. Imagine a pastor who has disciples. Now you are a junior pastor to this man, but you suddenly went off to open your own branch or the rest of them. Now you will notice that you will not inherit those things that your man of God has or that your father has. Transference of things can only be possible through discipleship. There are no new things God is doing. According as his divine nature, he had given us all things that pertains to life and godliness. So there is no new thing God is doing. There is nothing specific now that is so different from what he has done before. So according as his divine nature, like the way he is right now, like when he made Adam and Eve, it was through Adam that he brought out Eve, or he made Eve. He made Eve. So there is no special thing he's doing. What he's doing is just transferring things from one generation to another, from one man to another. So if you think or you feel you don't want to serve, you will not be able to get that thing. When you serve, if you want honor, if you want to be honored, you serve. Honor comes in the place of service. What he expects from visionaries is to transfer the grace, anointing, abilities they endowed them with to the next generation. But this cannot be possible except the next generation submits themselves under the leadership of the visionary for training and discipleship. So in as much as God has given us things, anointings, grace and abilities, but you will not be able to get that thing from your master if you're not willing to serve him. An apprentice, you will be in a shop, you wouldn't want to serve your master to the end. You just want to steal his things and go. You will notice that those, like the things he is meant to give to you, you will not get it. You will not get it by stealing, by playing pranks and the rest of them. Now, who is a disciple? That's the question. Who is a disciple? Now I'll tell you who a disciple is. A disciple is a learner, a student of a master, an apprentice. A disciple is a servant. A disciple is a servant. A disciple is a follower. A disciple is a trainee. A disciple is a follower. There's one thing that people say. They say that school is the only place you get paid to be flogged. Now you go to school, you have to, now when you are in school as a student, maybe you're in secondary school or primary school, what have you, you notice that you will have to submit to the rules and regulations of that school. If they say make all back, you have to make the all back. If they say you have to sweep the compound, you have to do it, maybe because you came to school late or something like that. So you notice that if you do not abide by the instructions of the school, the rules and regulations, you will get flogged. The same thing goes with a learner, a follower, a disciple. You need to submit totally to the rules and regulations, the principles of your master. No matter how strict or difficult you think it is, you don't have your own options. You don't need to suggest. You're not there to give opinions on what you think. You only open your mouth when you're being asked. You need to follow each and every instruction your master gives to you. Now, most people, what is wrong these days is that you feel you can just do it on your own. Nobody wants to serve. You don't want to bend down and take now, what is wrong with us today that we don't want to take instructions from anybody? We just want to be the bosses of our own, or the boss of our own. But that is not how it is. You cannot get to the top without serving. Everybody that is at the top right now once served somebody. Even in politics, you have people they call godfathers, and the people that put you where you are. So for you to make it, for you to get to the top, you need service. You have to serve. If you don't develop a heart disposition for all of these mentioned above, you are not ready to be a master. Every disciple is a potential master tomorrow. So if you're not ready to be a follower, if you're not ready to take instructions, if you're not ready to be rebuked, if you're not ready to be flogged, then you're not ready to be a master. Because before you be a master, before you get to the top, you must. It is a must that you have to serve. You need to be a disciple. Now, Jesus had 12 disciples. He had disciples, but inside his disciples, he had 12 disciples. Now, those 12, they followed each and every of his instructions. In Matthew 4:18-20, he told Peter and Andrew when they went fishing, told them to drop those things and follow him. Somebody would see, you don't follow God with sense, so he doesn't speak to make sense. He's not telling you for you to reason it. The same goes with every master. He's not telling you so that you start reasoning whatever he is saying. Is for you to, follow. You follow sheepishly. When he told Peter and Andrew, they left everything they were doing. They left those things and followed him. Looking at the likes of James and John, the sons of Zebedee, Jesus told them to follow him. Now they left their net, they left their equipment, they even left their father and followed him. Their father was in the boat. They left him, left everything. So the same thing, if you know or you think you want to be a disciple, there are things you must give up. There are pleasures or things that you desire that you would have to remove, set them aside for you to be a good disciple, for you to be able to follow well. All right, the next thing is the aim of discipleship. What is the aim of being a disciple, or what is the aim of discipleship? The sole aim of discipleship is to be like the master and to do what he does. That's the number one aim, to be like the master. When you come out, they ask you who is your master, and you mention the person's name, but your life is not reflecting, it is not showing what actually that man represents. You're not representing well. Being a disciple, you need to represent well. Maybe you're coming from a local assembly, from any local assembly, and then they ask you, which church do you attend, or where is your church located at? You now mention the church you're going to, but your dressing doesn't speak well of where you're coming from. People wouldn't want to come to your church, right? Because you've actually painted a wrong image of what that place is with the way you projected yourself. You are an extension of your master. A disciple is a custodian of the teachings and the ways of his master. You are a disciple to the ministry you follow. You see? You are a disciple to the ministry you are following. If you're following someone maybe in the area of music, you are the disciple of that person, even if you're older than the person with 50 years. So far as you're following, you've made up your mind to follow, you are a disciple. You're going to a church, you are a disciple of that church. So you need to project that church well. You need to represent well. What this simply means is that you accept the teachings of your master without doubting. You don't suggest as a disciple. You don't come with your visions and ideas. So you accept the teachings. You don't doubt it. You don't question it. You don't come with your own suggestions. You don't come with your own ideas and your visions. Even if you have what you want, or what God has placed in you, but there is somebody you need to serve as well. Now you need to click with the person that is sharing the same thing with you. Follow well. You don't come and start telling the person, this is my eye, look at. Let that thing live. Let it be like that. Now this person has the same vision with you. And this person is better off than you. This person, he knows this thing well. What to do is to follow. Follow. Because you know what you want. You know what you're looking for. Some people, they get into a local assembly. Why? Because they get connected, or this is where what they are looking for is. What do? They follow. You don't build an empire of your own. Every disciple denies himself. So if everything is all about you're not ready to serve somebody. If you cannot bend down and do something, you're not ready. You're not ready. You cannot come and build an empire. You are serving somebody. You are, extorting the person's money, building your own thing, establishing yourself. It won't last. Because you couldn't serve. You are not able to be a disciple. You couldn't follow. And then another thing, a disciple is someone who is able to stand and, stand and defend his master wherever he is. You cannot be serving somebody there. Whenever they are talking bad about the person, you are there. You're there. You are contributing. No, now. Even if you're coming from a local assembly and then they are saying bad things about your home, and you are standing, watching, even contributing to it, you're not a disciple. You don't belong there. A disciple doesn't have a plan of his own. Jesus' earthly ministry is to do the Father's assignment. Jesus' earthly ministry is to do his Father's assignment. His Father sent him down to earth for a purpose, for a reason. So he was focused on doing that. As a pastor disciple, you don't have a message different from what your pastor has. And when your pastor calls you and tells you this is what we'll work with, and then you go back and change it. You go back and twat it to have your own. That's not how it works. You are a disciple to the church where you worship. You are not there to do your selfish desires and interests, but the purpose and the mandate of that church. When they say sit down, you sit down. So you are a disciple to the assembly you go to. You don't have a different plan. You respect the orders of the pastor and the church. You accept the order of the pastor. If anybody that is there, like the protocols and the rest of them, when they tell you sit down here, respect it and sit down there. Every disciple lives to please his master. The subject of discipleship spreads across every aspect of life, even in business. So every disciple lives to please his master. So this discipleship thing is not all about churches. It also implies in business. You are an apprentice. You are working for somebody in his maybe store or anything, and you're not doing it well. You don't keep records of the day-to-day activities. As an apprentice, you are under your master to be trained, equipped to become a master, but faithful in your service to your master. You should be faithful. Don't be dubious. Don't be rebellious to authorities. You are there to be equipped, to be trained, to be a better person. He that is faithful in another man's business shall receive his own. Discipleship avails you the opportunity to learn, relearn and unlearn, so you stay under your master and get equipped. Please stay under your master, get equipped, get trained to be a better person. It is not to harm you. Thank you so much for today. Thank you for joining. God bless you. Happy New Month once again. Stay safe.
It's Word Time with Princess.
The biggest prophecy that will determine your future are your friends. Show me your friend and I'll tell you who you are.
Every Sunday by 5 p.m. Follow us on this social media platforms: Facebook, Princess Chidera Job; YouTube, Word Time with Princess. We inspire you to a great height.